Hey, welcome to Life Extension Live. I'm Dr. Mike. That is
Dr. Crystal.
Dr. Crystal. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hamburgers and French fries.
Yum.
Spaghetti and meatballs. Peanut butter and jelly. What are they? Why are we talking about that right now?
Because we're talking about nutrient pairs.
And those are good food pairs.
Oh, yes. Although my daughter likes peanut butter and honey. That's her new
I do
thing.
too. I was peanut butter and banana when I was a kid. Remember? And then I made the allergy to it. I ate so much of it. Anyways, we're talking about nutrient pairs today. These are the best way to describe this is you want to think about these things to get the best bang out of your buck for these nutrients. Is that a good way to kind of say it?
I agree. I think sometimes we find ourselves taking things in isolation and don't quite realize the synergy and the relationship that many nutrients have.
So on today's show, let's throw that up. Here it comes right there. We're going to talk about things like, there's a nutrient you need with vitamin E. Did you know that, Dr. Crystal? There's a bunch of stuff about B vitamins and something else. We're going to talk about that. And then, of course, sodium should be paired with another mineral that could help with blood pressure. Yeah. Did you know that? Of course you did. She teaches me these things. She's a nutritionist. All right, so let's get right into this. I think we're going to first just show a big list, right? Is that what we're doing?
Just a high-level list of some common pairs or nutrients that have relationships that you should be aware of.
Yeah, so leave that just for a sec. Let people kind of soak that in a little bit. C and iron, copper, zinc. A lot of these you may have heard of a little bit. CoQ10 and E, that was kind of a newer one for me, to be honest with you.
I think people know calcium and magnesium. I hope you know about vitamin D and vitamin K, too.
I hope so, too. We'll have to see. Yeah, so that's the stuff we're going to talk about today. So hopefully this will be very impactful for you as you consider your nutrient regimen,
That's right?
All right, so let's go to the first one. And we're going to talk about vitamin C and iron. At the end of the day, it turns out vitamin C is very important for iron absorption, right.
Yes, and that's a nutrient pairing. I think that most people, or some people at least, if you're told to take iron, they're kind of familiar with that pairing. But we do see that most people aren't aware that vitamin C helps with the absorption of non-heme iron.
No, explain that. We got to explain that.
So this is iron that's coming from plants.
Plant-based stuff.
Plant-based iron, vitamin C, can help with the absorption. And what we also see, which this pairing is a little different than the pairing that you'll find with some of our other pairings that we'll talk about, is the relationship is you take them together. Yeah. Like at the same time.
And that makes sense because you're talking about absorption in this case, right?
Right.
Right. This isn't like something happening later in the body, which some of those pairs are.
Right.
Right. So this is one, and we're going to try to be clear when it's best to do it right together, or when it could be taken at separate times.
Good point.
That kind of stuff.
Yes.
So iron and vitamin C, especially if you have an iron deficiency, maybe trying to correct an anemia or something like that, you want to take them at the same time. How much vitamin C are you recommending as a nutritionist?
So we do have a study, and I'll just get straight to it because this study kind of compared 80 milligrams of vitamin C, 500 milligrams of vitamin C. It compared coffee with the iron or breakfast with orange juice and coffee. And ultimately, it was the 80 milligrams of vitamin C with the iron.
So that's a low dose, but that's all you need to help with absorption.
Right.
Yeah. And so there you go. Iron at the same time with vitamin C, you're going to improve your iron stores faster. You're going to see all days. Oh, jeez.
So wait, just one disclaimer here. We're seeing some mixed reviews, and I wanted to maybe distinguish the study that we featured. We know it improves absorption, and you hope since more is absorbed, you'll see the stores increase.
Okay.
And we don't quite know that part of the puzzle.
That all we know is we're getting iron into your system better, which is necessary to correct that anemia at the end of the day, right? Okay.
Right.
And again, remember at the very beginning, I say, think about it, it's the best bang for your buck, right? Some people might be on prescription iron, who knows? You're paying money for this. Why not get all in your system that you can get?
Right.
That's the bang for your buck. That's adding vitamin C.
That's the bang for your buck. And again, we're talking 80 milligrams of vitamin C as an add-in. Some people try taking their iron with orange juice. Seems like that wasn't the better approach or the best approach.
So let's go on to number 2. This is zinc and copper. Zinc and copper. What's going on here?
This is one that you'll see on your labels, Dr. Mike. They have what's going on here?
What's going on here? I'm from Texas.
They have an opposing relationship.
Right.
So when one goes
down,
up, the other goes down.
dude.
One goes down, the other goes up. And so what's happening is zinc inefficiency insufficiency can occur when you have excess copper in the body.
Right.
Now,
no, it's not that common though, right? To have excess copper.
Right. So I think that's kind of the disclaimer here. But we do know kind of that yin yang relationship.
Flip it.
When you flip it, when you have excess zinc intake, it can decrease copper absorption.
And then that's going to cause some copper issues.
Right. Yes.
I bet you, and you know why that's not good?
Why?
I know why it's not good.
Why?
A lot of people don't know that.
Are you going to give a copper detail?
Well, I'm not going to dive deep in the woods here.
Okay.
But copper is an important mineral for the cholesterol cycle in the body.
Tell me more.
Well, I'm not. You have to read it. No, I'm just kidding. No, it is. Copper is actually involved in helping, when LDL releases the cholesterol and now picks up more fats and stuff and becomes high density, because that's what happens. Copper's involved in that process.
All right. Yeah. I also think about copper and its antioxidant, how it supports antioxidant systems, like the body's internal antioxidant
but the problem with copper, it has a very fine range of working well in the body. Very low, you get above that, then copper toxicity is not good.
Yeah. So the general rule is if you're taking more than 50 milligrams of zinc for 4 weeks or longer, or just if you're taking 50 milligrams of zinc, you want to make sure you are also adding in at least 2 milligrams of copper.
50 and 2. And think about that. That's going to happen. Well, there are some men who take a lot of zinc for prostate issues. So if you've been prescribed that, think about how much you're doing. Maybe you need some copper. Talk to your doctor about that. But I think this happens a lot during cold and flu season.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I see people doing those zinc lozenges, and they're just like,
And copper may not be in your multi-nutrient preparation. So you kind of have to just look for it, make sure you're getting at least 2.
I think a lot of multivitamin formulations, they don't include copper anymore, right?
Well, it all depends. So
you have to look. Okay.
You have to look.
All right, there you go.
Have it.
There's copper and zinc. I think for most people, it's when you're taking a lot of zinc, think about that copper as well. 50 milligrams to 2 milligrams. All right, let's move on to magnesium and vitamin D. What's funny about this pairing? You're really talking about 2 powerhouses.
I know.
I mean, you're talking about super studs.
Super.
These are the power conference guys. Going back to college football. These are the big guys.
The Big Ten. One of the Big Ten.
You're Big Ten. We're talking SEC. Anyway, moving on. Vitamin D. I mean, every cell in your body has a receptor for vitamin D. Think about that.
Yes, and it's really a hormone.
It's really a hormone. Yeah, I know. It's not even classified. But whatever. I mean, and then magnesium, what's the 200 and something?
Over 300 biochemical
things.
Processes.
And those magnesium processes often overlap vitamin D work.
Yes, they do. And we know that magnesium is needed for the synthesis of vitamin D, also needed to convert vitamin D to its active form. So, yeah, we need them both.
And here's the thing. If you're not taking both already after years of Dr. Crystal and I talking about this, you're probably not listening to everything we're saying. I mean, we've been talking about magnesium and vitamin D for how long?
Oh, and by the way, magnesium also helps that vitamin D get into the blood.
Yeah. So think about, and now this is not something you got to take them in the same formula. You don't have to take it at the same time. You just want to make sure your vitamin D status is optimal, and so is your magnesium.
Yes, and just to go back really quick, because we said we would say the same for zinc and copper. Again, it's not something that you need to take at the exact same time.
So far, exact same time, iron and C.
Yes.
Iron and C. Okay, let's go on to vitamin E and vitamin C together.
Yes. So I love this relationship between antioxidants. I talk about it often, but
she loves it.
They need each other.
You love a lot of things in the field of nutrition.
Well, hey, that's what I do.
How many nutrients have you told me you love?
Them all, because we need them all. So the question is, what happens when you take vitamin E and vitamin C together? And you find that they help each other out. They're both antioxidants. They both fight free radicals, but they work together. Vitamin C repairs vitamin E. And I think what some people may not realize when these vitamins quench a free radical, they're kind of donating those electrons to neutralize free radicals in the body. They become a radical.
Yeah, they need help now. Yeah.
Right. So then you have another vitamin that donates.
Making that more, it takes it back to that state where it can fight again.
Exactly. That chain reaction. And so it's beautiful to see vitamin C and vitamin E.
Yeah, and they do work. Yeah. And it's almost like, and where do we learn this from? Nature. I mean, it's that's what's so great about this. I mean, the body knows what it's doing. It knows how to use these antioxidants. So make sure and this is really why it goes back when we talk about food first. You want to eat a variety of different foods because you want to make sure you're getting the magnesium and the Ds. You want to make sure you're getting the Cs and the Es. That's why you want color on your plate. You can't just eat steak and potato all the time. You got to get some veggies, right? I mean, it goes back to that. The Mediterranean diet, I mean, that's perfect for this. You're getting an array of nutrients.
Yes, and that's why you add your citrus, your green leafies for your vitamin C, and then you add some walnuts on top of that. Broccoli, maybe. and now you have your vitamin E and your vitamin C. I would have gone right to
broccoli, but that's fine. I'm going to skip this, the one that's number 6 on here. I'm going to skip, because I want to go to CoQ10 and vitamin E, since we were just talking about vitamin E, because it's kind of the same thing. CoQ10 and vitamin E, by the way, vitamin E, basic vitamin, everybody should be taking it. And then I don't know how many times I said CoQ10 is a foundational nutrient. Please take it if you're not, ubiquinol CoQ10. So this is just good news because everybody watching should be taking these.
That's right. And so the good news is ubiquinol also helps to recycle vitamin E.
There you go.
There you go.
Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant. It's such an important role in the brain and the eyes and all that kind. And you got to recycle it. And you have 2 things right here: C and CoQ10. Recycling it. So take again at the same time. No, same formula. No, just daily CoQ10, daily vitamin E, daily vitamin C, daily vitamin E at the same time. There you go. Okay. Now let's go to one. I don't know. You think people know about this? We've talked about it a lot.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
All right. It's vitamin D3 and vitamin K2.
Oh, okay. I thought
wait. You thought I was talking about something else?
Yes.
Where are you at in your notes?
Up here. Folate and B12. Do we want to talk about that now or later?
Well, I already introduced D and K2, so let's do that and we'll go back. Alex, I'm off the script.
Throw the whole thing away.
Let's talk about D and K2, because this is a pretty important relationship, but it's not complicated, right?
No.
So here's how I see it.
Okay.
It's all really about calcium. I know it's weird. We're talking about nutrient pairs, We're talking about vitamin D3 and vitamin K2. Remember, vitamin K comes in K1, K2. I'm talking about K2. It's important for calcium. And then you got vitamin D. The D3 is the human normal form. And both of those play a major, major role in making sure calcium is doing what it's supposed to be doing in the body.
That's it. So D is helping to get calcium into the bloodstream or into the body. K is getting that calcium where we want it, into the bones.
Right. So if you don't have a lot of D or a lot of K2 in your system and you're taking a lot of calcium, which a lot of premenopausal women are, postmenopausal women, doing a lot of calcium supplementation. If your D and K2 are low, unfortunately, that calcium may be going to places you don't want it to go, like the wall of your arteries.
That's right. So people know about vitamin D and calcium, so let's add that K into the mix.
Vitamin K2, there you go. Now let's go to folate and vitamin B12 because I'm kind of confused about this one too.
Well, you find that their roles in the body, they have similar roles. They're both needed for red blood cell formation. But some people folate's getting some traction, I think, in the health world. People are starting to take folate. Of course, if you are pregnant, you're taking a little more folate. And what's happening is if you take that folate, you could potentially be deficient in B12 and you don't know it.
Yeah.
Because on lab work, you may not see the manifestation of B12 deficiency. So those are two that you want to kind of make sure you're taking as a pair.
Yeah. And so I think most, complex B vitamins usually have both of those in there. So it's just something to be more aware of. And that in the B12 masking that's important.
I think that's important. There's another big cycle in the body, the methylation cycle.
Ooh, let's do that. Let's talk about that.
No, we're not going to get into details.
We did a whole show on that. Did we do a live on that?
We did. But I think the point is you find a relationship with many B vitamins just in that one cycle that you need to continue going on and on and on. So you need the folate, you need the B12, you need the B5. So yes, you kind of want to consider the Bs all together.
Now let's go into our last relationship here. This is one that I think most people, if you were a science person, right? And you were going to write a script about nutrient pairs, you probably wouldn't think of the next grouping. What do you think?
If you're a science person, you better.
No, I don't think they would. I think they would not. I think they're going to think about the iron and the C and all that. I don't think they're going to think about sodium and potassium.
I don't know, Dr. Mike, if I agree with that. But
Robson,
this is the pair that I think
turn her mic off.
That I think many people know about. As a scientist, you learn about the sodium, potassium, the channels and the pumps and everything. Of course, they're going to think about this. I think the everyday person may not think, hey, you know what? I'm eating a lot of salt. How do I get this salt out of my body? I better drink some coconut juice.
coconut
water to help to get the potassium in your body, to help your body excrete sodium. I don't think people realize there is a relationship between sodium. When sodium goes into a cell, potassium's coming out.
Yeah, it actually was recognized a long time ago as helping with blood pressure, right? Because it's part of what's called the DASH diet. The dietary approach to stopping hypertension. And part of that is obviously less sodium, but the counter to that was more potassium.
Yes.
And so most of us need to be lowering the sodium, increasing the potassium. As a matter of fact, there's potassium salts that you can do. Doesn't your husband do this, Blake?
Unfortunately so.
But I get what he's trying to do.
Yes, he's the salt police in the house. But I appreciate it, especially on those days when I'm feeling bloated, because we know that sodium causes water retention. Potassium acts as a diuretic. So those are the times I can say, okay, husband, you can cook with your potassium, your salt substitute, which is potassium.
Yeah, listen, I know this is where it's hard. At the end of the day, good salt, whether it's, sea salt, kosher salt, whatever you want to do, man, it makes food so happy. And it makes me happy.
Yes. I mean, but some people can't taste the difference. So I'm not saying to avoid the salt substitutes. They are a great way. And there is recent research to show substituting regular salt, which is sodium chloride, with the salt substitutes that you can find on the shelf, which is potassium chloride, decreases blood pressure.
Yeah, but I also like the idea of just coconut water with it or something, right?
Right.
And just get the potassium that way and keep the salt. As a matter of fact, the World Health Organization, they suggest sodium intake of less than 2,000 milligrams per day. That's sodium specifically, and more than 3,500 milligrams of potassium per day. That's a good ratio. Yeah. So that's 2,000 sodium to about 3,500 potassium. That's a good balance, helping blood pressure.
Yeah.
Wow. So, in conclusion, when it comes to sodium or potassium, I think too much of either one is not great. So keep that balance nicely, right?
Yes.
So what do you think? Was this good as the nutritionist?
I think this was fantastic. I wanted to know what you think. Are there any pairs that we're missing?
Yeah, what are we missing out there?
We covered the pairs, but what are you pairing together that you find they work really well?
And what was something that was new?
Routine.
What was something that was new maybe you learned? Let us know that as well. And we also have, don't we have, we got a nice page that they can go to. This is lifeextension.com/education. I think we're going to throw it up there. There it is. That page right there is a bunch of the stuff that Dr. Crystal and I do, but there's also protocols, Life Extension magazine articles. What am I missing? There's the podcast is on there, obviously.
The blogs, the wellness blogs
are on there.
Our health news.
The quizzes.
What's hot.
And we have health quizzes. You take these quizzes, and it pinpoints those products that might be best for you. Yeah. That's at lifeextension.com/education. And when you're at Life Extension, they want to say thank you for being such a great audience. When you're there, use the discount code LELIVE for 10% off $50 or more, plus free shipping and handling. That's all at lifeextension.com. We go live every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern time on Life Extension Facebook and others.
And our YouTube, wellness YouTube channel.
We're all over the place. Wherever you watch this live, like, share, comment, ring bells, put thumbs up, hit interested. I don't know. Whatever you got to do so you never miss when we're about to go live. That's Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern time. I'm Dr. Mike.
I'm Dr. Crystal.
We'll see you next Wednesday.